So, big v small skins. Let's start with the big skins, and no, I'm not talking about hitboxes. That's been proved in many videos before, ultimately showing that hitboxes don't matter and they are the exact same on all different types of skins. Here, I'm simply going to be showing the visual effect and explaining the effect on a player's mind and what actions they're therefore going to take. So the two biggest skins pretty much in the game are going to be the ghillie suits, which you can get on multiple of the different nations, as well as Siegfried, who obviously has the big blue cape, which you can see as we get onto here. As you've seen in the previous clip, the ghillie suit, along with the cape here, you clearly are aiming onto the character model, but you can't do damage because you're not within the hitbox or on the character body. In your head, obviously, you're going to be thinking, as soon as you aim in on a gunfight and your sight is on the cape, in a gunfight, you've got to react quick, you haven't got time to think, you're going to start shooting, and there's a good chance you're going to miss shots. And when talking about these two biggest skins on the ghillie suit and Siegfried, you can see with the headgear, you've got, obviously the cape has got the collar sticking up, and the ghillie suit has got some leaves hanging down. And that can make the head look a bit bigger, which, you come up against a bolt action sniper, and that sniper might aim in, get close to the head, is aiming at the leaves or the collar, and think they're on target and they're going to miss a shot. And now moving on to Misaki, which is one of the smallest skins in the game, you can clearly see here that the hitbox is larger than the actual visible character model. You'll see now when I aim in between the legs, I'm not aiming anywhere near actually on the character model, which you can actually see, and it's obviously doing damage and getting a kill. Now, before I get into my ultimate opinion on whether you should use big or a small skin, you're going to see here the small versus big skin at a distance. For example, here 50 meters, you can clearly see that the smaller skin is much harder to see than a bigger skin, and you have to factor in this as a still image, and when you're moving and running around the map, it is going to be much harder to see those smaller skins. So what is the ultimate opinion? Well, if you're going for one of those bigger skins, I would say it's more suited to close range aggressive gameplay. Now, why is that? Well, the biggest disadvantage of using the big skins is obviously at longer distances, or the longer the distance is, the easier it is for the enemy to spot and see you and therefore react to you and be more likely to have the higher reactions and get the gun up and start firing at you in a gunfight. The advantage of using a bigger skin in close range is if an enemy aims in and thinks they're aimed onto the character model where they can actually do damage, but they're not, and they start firing, it's really hard for the enemy when they start firing to adjust and move this sight onto target. So if they aim in on the bigger character model and they're not on the damageable, on the part which they can damage, then of course, you've got a better chance of winning the gunfight in close range, because they're going to miss a lot of shots and give you time to pull your gun up. Especially if they're using a slower fire rate weapon and start missing some shots, then you're going to almost win every gunfight. However, if you're using the small skins, I would argue there is no disadvantage. Obviously, the further and longer distance away you are when using the small skins, the harder you become seeing. Therefore, enemies are going to react to you much slower the longer and further a distance you are away from them, and this is going to give you more time to be able to obviously get closer, to pull your gun up and start firing shots first, and you can therefore beat their reaction time and kill them first. And obviously, when you're in close range, when an enemy pulls their gun up, their gun, as you've seen, the visual hitbox is larger than the skin size of, say, Misaki. In a gunfight at close range, when using a small skin, the enemy might pull their gun up and the gun might actually be on part of the body which they can damage, but when you've got to react quick and you haven't got time to think in a close range gunfight, the enemy is going to pull their gun up and is going to need to take extra time to move their sight onto an actual visual body part that they can see before they start firing. So the enemy might pull their gun up onto a body part of your small skin that they can actually do damage to, but they won't start firing because their brain is telling them they can't do damage to that body part. So they therefore have to take the extra time to move this sight onto your skin. Now, yes, it's going to be easier for them to move this sight onto your skin because they're not pre-firing, but that's the kind of argument between the two. There's no main disadvantage to using the small skins. I would advise using the small skins. However, if you do play really aggressive all the time on Underground, on Armage with a ZK, a big skin could be really useful when you come up against other ZK aggressive players, because if they do aim in and start firing onto the cape or onto the leaves, when their brain tells them they're on a part of the body which they can actually damage, but they can't, then you're probably going to win those gunfights more often than not. But if you want all-round consistency, go with the smaller skins. Please smash a like, and I'll see you on the next video.
But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to